All right, friends, today on the podcast, we are talking to Luke, Mac, and Drew from Cleveland Kitchen. As I said, our guests on the podcast, Luke, Drew, and Mac from Cleveland Kitchen, as we get ready for the Small Business Forum on October 5th. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having us on.
It is our absolute pleasure to spend a couple minutes with you. So we're obviously gearing up for the Small Business Forum here on October 5th. And for the three people maybe that might not be familiar with the origin story, can you guys maybe go back 7 years and talk about how this business came to be? I mean, obviously it's a wild success story and we'll get to all of that stuff, but there are humble beginnings we can talk about. So let's go back to the humble beginnings. How does this story start and how does the business kind of get rolling?
Sure. So I'm going to take you back almost 30 years, actually. So we like to say that the farmers market started when we were kids. My mother and Mac's mother and Luke's mother-in-law, she was a chef, biologist, started the farmers markets in Cleveland, Shaker Square, Crocker Park, all that. And so we just grew up in that world, seeing farm to table, seeing who made it from the street to the grocery store, et cetera. And fast forward a couple of years after college, I was living in Virginia and I couldn't get the good, Eastern European fare. Kielbasi, sauerkraut, pierogies, all that good stuff you get, Cleveland, Chicago, Pittsburgh. And Luke, who was engaged to my sister at the time, this is like 2013, one night over a beer, he pulls out some sauerkraut that he had made. And I was a guy who was making sauerkraut at the time. And I just moved back to Cleveland. And it was kind of a coincidence that some 20-some-year-old guys are making sauerkraut and not making beer, right? Making sauerkraut.
Right, yes.
Yeah. And Luke's, you've got the history with the heritage, and his sauerkraut was crunchy, vibrant, it's delicious. I'm like, we can't get this stuff on the grocery store shelves. We started to take a look, and there's a lot of benefits to probiotic foods. Fermented foods is a big category globally. And, so maybe we have something here. We've got access to farmers markets. So Mac was at Miami of Ohio. We called down there, taught him how to make sauerkraut over the phone.
I mean, what other way to learn to make sauerkraut than clearly over the phone is how we learn recipes now.
The old fashioned way, right? Yeah.
Yes,
no, my buddies were wondering what the heck was going on in our kitchen, but come barbecue season, they love the fresh crunch and flavor of the kraut that Luke and Drew taught me to make. So we knew we had a good product and a strange hobby.
So we got a little commercial kitchen space, culinary launch kitchen. I think we were one of the first tenants there. And, Luke is architect, his background. So he was at the architecture firm in the morning. I'd come in from the bank. Mac come in from, he was in finance group at Jones Day. We're all wearing suits and ties, whatever it is, 7 p.m. And then we'd work till about 3 a.m, a couple nights of the week, making the sauerkraut, fermenting it, and getting it ready and hitting farmers markets over the weekend. What was interesting is we knew we were going to get like the kielbasi, the barbecue crowd, which is great. And we love eating sauerkraut like that. But what was a little surprising was the usage occasion. Folks were eating it with eggs in the morning. They're throwing it on salads. They're throwing it on curry, rice bowls, in wraps. At dinner time, they'd have it, with a pork chop or something like that. Something a little more standard, but just across the board, we're seeing it on pizzas. And the usage occasion and the velocity was just totally changing. So we thought, okay, I think we really got something here. Luke, obviously the operational mind, he built a little facility for us. We raised a little bit of capital, and Mac took a retail pack and went to Heinen's and sold it in. And it's been, the rest is history, right?
Well, yeah, but I do want to go back a couple steps though, because, I wonder, Drew, how were you getting that feedback? Was that from the internet? Were people coming up to you? Like, how did you know you had enough feedback to go, the pork chop is real, the eggs are real, the salad is real?
It's the farmer's market. You're standing there, and Luke, you could speak to this one if you want to chime in, but.
Yeah, I think that's how you formalize your pitch. And we've turned that into the foundation of some of our marketing that we do on shelf right now. But honestly, it's A and B trialing, right? You have a conversation with one person. Does that stick with the next person? You alter your pitch a little bit. And what about this? What about that? You go back home and you actually start cooking with this stuff and playing with it. You talk to the customers at the farmers market. What are you doing with it? And that was also the early work that inspired another product line, which was the dressing. And Matt can tell that story a little bit better. But yeah, you're just having like these freewheeling conversations about what people are doing with our products, what works, what doesn't.
Selling direct to the customer and then giving you feedback after they've purchased the product. It doesn't get better than that. You see a couple hundred customers a weekend and you start to really understand what people are using.
If you look at a lot of great businesses, that direct customer feedback and talking to those who are actually using and consuming your product, whether it's us or any other food or beverage brand who goes to markets, goes to demos and speaks directly with your customers week in and week out and gets that direct feedback of, it's great on a hot dog and bratwurst, but I'm actually using it, rice dishes, fish tacos, wraps, salads, all of that. We just understood that there are usage occasions. And then you look at one of the early foundational moments of a huge tech company like Airbnb, they flew out to New York to see how their top users were actually using the app. So I think it's really just getting down however you can and speaking to your customers wherever you can possible.
Now, Luke, you sort of just moved on to the next segment I wanted to get into, which was the idea of scaling up to new products. When someone's launching a business and they have a product or they have two, finding that kind of right moment to introduce something new like a dressing. What was kind of not necessarily the secret sauce to it, but what was kind of the strategy of knowing when because you guys have a fair amount of products in your set, right? And knowing when to add them when, and clearly you guys have figured out the timing and the pace to do that. And I'm wondering, what could someone learn from the way in which you guys roll out new products and when you know how to roll out a new product?
It's a tricky question because, you see a lot of businesses go too fast too soon. We're in a category that's kind of small, right? Sauerkraut is a growing category. We grow it every year single-handedly. We expand these, with the usage occasion, but you can't just throw 10 SKUs at a Giant Eagle buyer. He wants your top three, right? And so you really need to be cautious and look at your brand and see where you can expand. And the timing is kind of a shot in the dark. It's probably never the best time. It's never the worst time. But we were in a Kraft Heinz incubator program in Chicago in 2018. And we were talking to their brand experts, how do we build Cleveland Kitchen into this household brand and how far can we stretch? And you look out 5 years, we could be doing X, Y, and Z products that wouldn't make sense for us right now. But at the time, Matt can tell the story, but we were hearing some things at the farmers market that were interesting about our product.
Yeah, I think we were getting that great feedback of, you should do X, Y, and Z when we're speaking to consumers. We're looking at our set. We're seeing areas we can expand into. We saw kind of that healthy shot emergence come around a few years ago. And we were obviously producing a ton of really great probiotic kraut juice. And while, it's not something you want to sit around at a table and sip on a hot summer day, people were asking for it. And it did have that health benefit. We took it to that farmer's market environment and we sold out. But really, when we distilled down, why were people buying it? What was that kind of turning point when their eyes lit up and they said, yeah, I'll take one of these home, was, they were kind of asking, how do I use this? You can take it as a healthy shot. You can mix it into your smoothies or your soup, or I would say one of my favorite ways is to use it as a healthy vinaigrette. And that's when I would kind of see folks' eyes kind of light up and understand. And maybe 1 out of 10 people is like, yeah, oh, this is delicious. I would take this every day. It's not going to be your typical consumer. And we've really always built our business off of flavor first. We're always going to have that great, halo of health with our fantastic fermented foods and the great health benefits there. But really what keeps folks coming back and keeps the likes of Iron Chef Michael Simon putting us on his menus is that fantastic flavor. And so we took that learning about folks want to use this as a vinaigrette. They want something that is very low in calorie, low in carbs, but really big on flavor and health benefits. And we, Drew worked with a great R&D team to really develop the base for a line of fantastic first of their kind fermented dressings that we were able to then release to market. And we're now nationwide with Whole Foods. Locally here, we're in Giant Eagle, Heinen's, Publix down in the Southeast. So it's been a great success story. And we've kind of taken that leverage new product lines like our kimchi. It's an obvious extension for us. You know, it's fermented cabbage, so we weren't really recreating the wheel, but rather applying, you know, a fantastic Southeast Asian tradition, a way of fermentation, and bringing a fantastic product to market, and same with pickles. And so what we now try and do as we've grown as operators and businessmen here is we try and attach a key launch partner. So with our pickles, you know, we were outperforming on service throughout the pandemic. Luke, Drew, and our entire operations team did a fantastic job of, from 2020 till today, making sure that we had fantastic product and it was delivered on time and full. And Walmart reached out to me and he said, hey, listen, our buyers, like, nobody else is at this 99% on time and in full in the category. I know you had pickles kind of generally in your innovation pipeline. Would you consider accelerating that? We have a real gap. We have a real opportunity here to grow. And I basically said, give us 1,500 stores to make a business case out of it, and we'll go do just that. And so by attaching it to a customer, you kind of de-risk it a bit and then allow yourself to really hone in and you know, build a business case that you can take nationwide.
Now, you guys clearly have some magic going on between the three of you. I mean, even that story, right? Like, how many brands would not want Walmart to call them and go, hey, I was wondering if you could make speakers for, right? Like, or whatever the thing is. And I'm wondering, it might be difficult because you guys are in it every day, but what do you think makes the brand, outside of the flavor, right? Because even, you know, you've got test cases and each product is incredible, product after product, but just the fact that Walmart is calling you and going, hey, like, everybody else can't do this thing, but you guys, consistency, you know, brand promise, brand delivered over and over and over again. And watching the three of you talk, you clearly kind of have this magic, I guess, there's no other way to say it. And I'm wondering, is there something that we could noodle out from there that other businesses could learn how to either be open and be curious to things that might create that magic? Or what do you think it is that makes those moments that you clearly have a superior product to start with, right? Tastes amazing, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee success. There's a lot of other variables that go into that to make what you guys are doing today so magical. And I'm wondering, I don't know, any one of you can take that as a jump ball, but what do you think makes the magic? And does it have to be a familiar connection, or is it something beyond that?
For us, first, I mean, I'll just say that a little bit of it is luck that you know, Luke is our brother-in-law. He's an architect. He thinks operationally. He looks at things in quality, helps build the plant. Mac is like an absolutely natural relationship builder, networker, and salesperson. And I'm good with flavors, I guess. And so, like, it just happens that we just have. So there's a little bit, there's some luck there, Eric. We're not gonna lie. Like, we got lucky with this team here. But I think a lot of it is a focus on quality, a focus on service to your customers. You know, we're providing that 99% service rate to Walmart, and we're a small company, a very small company. They see that, and then when they test us, like, hey, can you do something? We come in and we execute, and we do everything we can to execute at a level that a Kraft Heinz or you know, a Kellogg would do, or a Nestle. And so we always punch above our weight, and we work really hard to make sure our customers are super happy and they're getting a really high quality product, and we do not sacrifice on quality. And so when you make those decisions and you follow through, people start to notice, and it comes back to you. Guys, what else, everything else I missed there? I'm sure.
Yeah, just same response. We complement each other fairly well. You guys are strong where I'm weak, and maybe vice versa. If I can tout myself a little bit. No, I'm kidding. But that three-legged stool definitely is been successful for the last 8 years. And I think that's a struggle for a lot of startups, a lot of single, you know, one person operators trying to bootstrap something. It's tough to look at yourself, you know, from the outside in and go, hey, where do I need someone to help me complement and fill in where I'm weak? And I think we've just naturally had that we've covered all of our bases on that front from kind of day one. But we've also had good people from the outside advising us on what we should do, and that's been massive. Right? We could not get to where we are right now if we didn't have people advising us along the way. People that have 40 years in the industry, saying, "Hey, we've been in this position. this is, you could go left, you could go right, but here's what you want to do. So that's also massive.
Find an expert and be coachable. Like we don't know what we don't know, and we're not CPG food guys. And we found people that do know, and we listened, and we changed our ways and adapted. And a lot of people don't do that. Sorry, Mac, I cut you off.
No, I think I just echoing what you both are saying is that, we've seen a lot of startup founders and there kind of is that entrepreneur grind of, don't sleep, do it all yourself. Like,
Right.
But if what definitely differentiated us is that we all had strengths and we played to them and we divided and conquered. And then, we brought each of our own skill sets. We brought, the data drivenness from the quality from banking and finance, the quality assurance and planning process from architecture, and applied that to our new industry. And then we went out and we found great advisors, mentors, and investors that would really help us take to the next level. You see a lot of founders with a fantastic idea and product that simply can't take feedback, won't give up the reins, and still kind of stay stuck in that rut. Whereas we were able to really bring in some fantastic folks to rely on our strengths and outsider strengths to take this to the next level and do so. Well, it does kind of seem like a lifetime for us, but on a relatively quick basis. So definitely key for us.
And so we're knocking on the door of Q4. What is the rest of the year like for you guys? What are you seeing? What are you excited about? What does 23 hold for you? What can we expect from Cleveland Kitchen?
We're pumped. We just doubled the size of the company in February when we bought Sonoma Brinery, which is a pickle and sauerkraut manufacturer in Northern California. We worked tirelessly to get a new plant built, highly automated, probably the most advanced pickle plant in the country in Santa Rosa, California. We've got about 45 new folks out there, and it's an amazing team. We're super excited. And they've been operational for about a month now, fully operational out of the new plant. And so it's super exciting to get product, out of that plant and that team ingratiated in the Cleveland culture and really push the envelope. We've got some new products, some new launches coming as well, which are super exciting. Towards the end of the year, beginning of next year, a single serve pickle, which is going to be really cool. That's launching early next year. And a couple new flavors that are pretty cool.
You don't need to share anything, my friend.
Yeah, so we're really excited. I think we're turning the corner from one plant in Cleveland, great team, really efficient, great model, to now we're expanding with geographical diversity and really building the fermented category. And it's not just sauerkraut anymore. That kimchi, pickles is really exciting stuff.
Mac, Lou, Drew, thank you so much for the time. We'll see you on October 5th.
Awesome.
Eric, really appreciate it.
Eric.